Well, it's going to be worse. It's going to be a World War III, believe me. Do you see any other country like Russia, Japan,
Might be World War III regardless.
No. This state and this country is the only way to... It's stupid enough to have a woman come in and try to run the country.
Trump is, I voted for Trump in 2016 when the first thing he announced was the fake news media, because I've always had this feeling that we were being lied to. And yes, the mainstream media, Hollywood and all of that played a part in the psyop of keeping us from the real truth.
Because I don't go to the polls today.
Okay, that's fine.
Why? Because I feel it's better to vote on my needs.
Base.
Okay.
Right.
This is Lancaster, Pennsylvania, home to the highest concentration of Amish people in the United States. It also happens to be inside a swing state that will likely decide the election. Because of the Amish and the natural beauty of Lancaster, they get a lot of tourists. So in this special episode of The Nate Friedman Show, you'll hear a variety of perspectives from those not just living in Lancaster, but across the country.
We're actually doing a video in Lancaster trying to figure out who people are supporting for the election. I was wondering if I could ask you.
Trump.
Absolutely. Tell me why Trump.
Look what we've just gone through for the last 4 years. It's got to stop. This monkey business has got to stop. The invasion at the southern border, the inflation, the immorality, it's got to stop.
Yeah. Are you in this area?
Bible verse on a shirt, U.S.
I live in a very,
told you.
very democratic state, Minnesota. And
oh, with walls.
yeah.
Oh, so tell me about that. What's that like living under his...
Well, we live far enough out of the
regime.
major metropolitan area, we don't have to put up with it. Minneapolis, about 60 years ago when I lived in North Minneapolis, it was a very nice place to live. Not so anymore. It just, and his policies are just horrendous.
You know, this is going to be interesting because I've dealt with the Amish quite a bit. I used to deliver down in rural Ohio, which is where I'm from. And there's a lot of Amish around here too. And I've always kind of thought, like, I never thought about Amish voting. It just never was something that came up. But this is going to be interesting to see because hopefully some of them can give us some insight in that.
Moral as you can get. Moral as you can get.
Can you
What do you need tampon machines in a boy's bathroom for?
Can you tell me, like, what are some things
Based
about
common
Walls
sense boomer.
that you'd like the country to know? Because I think the country doesn't know him very well.
They don't want to know him. They don't want to know him. Like I say, he advocated for the law that put tampon machines in boys' bathrooms in high schools. What do you need that garbage for?
Making Minnesota a haven for
Sex change operations for
people
little
who can
kids.
bring their children, get a sex change, even really young children. We find that deplorable.
Yeah, and abortions without restriction up until the day of birth, delivery. Yeah, just no ifs, ands, or buts. It's immoral. They pulled Biden out of office. He did, and then they make it sound like, oh, that magnanimous son of a gun. He realized that his melon was going bonkers, so he magnanimously stepped aside. Bullshit. They dragged his ass out, kicking and screaming, and they knew all along.
True.
For 3.5 years that mentally he wasn't capable. Okay, there's Kamala. When she ran for president, she got 2% or less of the vote. I mean, a disaster. So he takes her on as vice president, and then when they haul him out, there's no vote. The people aren't given a vote.
Right.
Here's our anointed queen, and the Republicans are the danger to democracy. Give me a break.
Remember this couple because later in this episode they will expose something crazy that involves Social Security. Now it was time to ask the Amish who they were voting for.
Okay, are these Amish or Mennonite?
Each time I did, I got shut down. I got rejected
This
by
is what-
Amish people for honestly over 30 minutes until I found this lady who ran a doll shop that just seemed like she might give me an answer.
Yeah, and this is the thing, and exactly, like, I've interacted with Amish, and it seems like, I feel like praying about it would be, I feel like they probably are just like, we're not going to deal with it, we're just going to do our thing, We're gonna have our, our big families. We're gonna build our barns. We're gonna plow our fields, and whatever happens with you people, we'll be here in the aftermath with our communities. So it is interesting that I think that the Amish voting, like I never even think about them caring about politics. Right? They just do their thing.
Yeah, we feel like praying about it would be the best thing to do because we don't know enough about each party,
Okay.
Yeah. Right. They don't
so
even care.
then, yeah, we feel more comfortable just to pray for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a specific outcome that you're praying for, or it's just?
We pray that it's the Lord's will.
Okay.
So yeah, that's.
Yeah. I saw something that said that the Amish community is shifting toward Trump, but have you heard something like that? Or?
I have heard, yeah, I
Okay.
have heard that, yeah, some.
I feel like I would be
some are.
surprised
Yeah.
if they voted
Within the
otherwise.
community that you've heard, are just from your personal experience, do you know of people that are supporting Trump or Harris?
I don't personally know, but I mean, you see a lot of people walking with Trump signs.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know, so I do know that I'm not for.
Before she reveals who she's for in this election, I think we can all agree how it's deeply unsettling how close this race is, regardless of what side you're on. It is clear that our country is going bankrupt. The data supports it, and knowledgeable
True.
businessmen
who
like
cares?
Elon are clearly outlining how this will cause destructive inflation. That's why I think, honestly, one of the best things.
No one cares, though. This is the thing, is that like we talk about the debt and whatnot and the deficit, but like no one gives a shit. Every time they get into office, they don't do anything to lower that debt. They just spend more and more. Like clearly, it doesn't matter. For some reason, it just doesn't matter. Nobody cares about it. I don't really know. I don't really get it because any normal person with that much debt would be on a roof somewhere, right? So I don't really get it, but.
To do right now is to consider investing in gold. It isn't prone to the same fluctuation, and it's why more and more people are turning to gold during these uncertain and absolutely ridiculous times. I mean, just look at the graph of gold going up. This absolutely beats just
Gold or
leaving money
Bitcoin.
in the bank. And that's why I've teamed up with Priority Gold, who has been working in the industry, by the way, for
Maybe I can get a
over 20
sponsor.
years to offer
Hey,
you
Priority.
a free
Priority Gold,
informational
give me a
guide.
sponsor.
They honestly make it so easy to start investing in
I don't have
gold
subs for
that at the
that, but-
very least you'll learn some of the very interesting nuances behind gold. Now, timing is important, so if you just text GOLD to 1-800-405-GOLD, you can get that guide and think about fortifying your savings. Now, let's get back to who Elizabeth is really supporting.
I do know that I'm not for what Harris, like she's for abortion,
No shit.
and that is just simply no. It's just
No.
not the way we think, you know. So I don't know. I mean, we sure.
It's clear that they're not going to vote for Harris. I mean, the Amish communities, they view life as a gift from God, right? They view it as their lineage. They view it as the potential, their future, right? A future. They view it as workers, right? Potential farm hands and stuff like that. They view it as a total value to their community. So there's no way that they would see this. They would look at abortion and be like, yeah, I'm for that. Like, there's no way.
I hope that somebody can get it that can handle, you know, can handle all what's happening. you know.
How has the community changed in the last 4 years? Like, has the change in regulations affected farming and stuff like that? Like, how has the landscape changed?
Actually, the only thing that I really know changed is the prices. The prices keep going up.
Okay.
So yeah. Other than that, I mean, I guess I can't
Economy's
tell
stupid.
big difference.
What do they say?
After speaking
It's
with
about the
Elizabeth,
economy,
I stepped
stupid.
outside to ask more voters who they were going for, and noticed this gentleman wearing a MAGA hat. I couldn't even start the interview with him because he noticed something too.
Hey, sir. Sir, that's a great hat you're wearing.
Yeah.
Nice hat, man. I like it, man. I like that hat.
Sir, can I ask you, we're doing a documentary right now, and we're asking people who they're voting for. Do you mind coming in here and telling me why you're voting for Trump?
It's easy, sir. Just
That's
speak your
easy.
mind.
It's an easy.
Yeah.
It's easy.
So why are you voting for Trump? Because he has a policy and she doesn't. She's a flip-flopper. What are the policies of Trump's that you like?
Well, the border, the Keystone Pipeline. See what else? The no tax on tips for
And then there's if you work overtime, he doesn't want to tax that. I'm trying to think of something else.
I saw that Kamala copied the no tax on tips. Do you think that
she's a flip-flop on both of them, I know.
Do you think that she'll copy the no tax on overtime?
She will. She will eventually. If she ever comes out of her cocoon, so I don't know.
What about you, sir? Why you voting for Trump?
The reason I'm voting for Trump is I voted for Trump in 2016 when the first thing he announced was the fake news media, because I've always had this feeling that we were being lied to. And yes, the mainstream media, Hollywood and all of that played a part in the psyop of keeping us from the real truth. Yes.
Yeah, this is an important point that I think a lot of people, Democrats, even just mainstream Republicans who maybe don't like Trump, don't understand is that Trump, he was more than just a politician, right? That's what they always say. He's more than just a politician. But it's like, what does that mean and what did he do? Well, this is exactly it. He totally took us out of these, the basic back and forth Democrat Republican policy. And he said, no, wait, I'm taking a step out of this and I'm telling you that the media is lying to you, and that we're like, he literally was quite literally outside of the political class and saying, no, and critiquing that itself. And he himself, whether you like the guy or not, whether you think his policies or whatever don't work, whatever, dumb, he's dumb, it doesn't matter, because what he did was exactly what this guy's saying. He awakened a lot of people to go, wait, maybe the people on the TV, maybe they're lying to us, And so not, I shouldn't even say lying, but maybe they're misleading us, right? Because they're being paid by people. We talked about Tim Pool a few weeks ago. Everybody's being paid by somebody to push something. And it was very enlightening and eye-opening, I think, for everybody to see, okay, you might not like Trump, but he's at least exposing something, the fake news, right? Which is now something that's even greater than politics. It's something that's in kind of the collective conscious that we have to kind of think about where our information is coming from.
So fake news media. The reason why I support Trump is that, number one, exposing the deep state. Now you see P. Diddy, who is linked to Barack Obama. He's linked to Hollywood in so many ways.
That's another thing, is that he's saying, he talked about the deep state, right? There's actors behind who is being shown on the TV, right? The puppet masters, right? Or whatever. And people go, people can hand wave that and say it's bullshit. But then you see the Epstein thing happen, right? Unravel, and they basically killed him in front of everybody, and everybody just kind of was like, okay. And then now we're seeing P. Diddy come out as basically the rap version of Epstein, and so now I feel like people in the kind of their minds, it's like, I don't know if some people admit it, but a lot of people, just regular everyday citizens, are thinking, what the hell's going on? Like, maybe he wasn't totally just spreading misinformation or whatever. Maybe there is something to exposing the deep state, right?
And you know how LeBron James said, ain't nothing like a Diddy party. Well, that's what's being perfect timing. That's what's being played out right at this moment, is that not only the DOJ, FBI, Department of Homeland Security, and look at this. Look who's voting for Kamala Harris.
Department of Homeland Security.
The IRS. It's time to eliminate the mitochondria of it all. Is the 1913 Federal Reserve, who prints our money since 1913. That's who the albatross is. Until we start printing our own money, we'll never be free. And once again, I'm Red Pill Ken. I moved to Pennsylvania out of New York about 4 years ago because I could see how New York was becoming communist. There was no God in New York, no sense of God in New York. But in Pennsylvania, you will find some semblance of God and country. And I love the farmers. I love our farmers. And that's why I'm right here in this facility right here. We're only open Tuesdays, but I'm shopping with people who I believe in, which is the Amish, where we're going to get a better food, free of pesticides, right? And I just love Pennsylvania for that reason. I'm going to live healthier, and I'm going to spend my money with people who I believe in Americans' principles and their values. God bless you, President Trump. Thank you for coming to the rescue to save America from these communists.
I am for the people of the United States.
Okay. So are you voting for a third party?
I'm not going to say which I'm voting, but I'm for the people of the United States.
Okay. Can you tell which
Abortion. It's a big one.
I'd rather not. Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Yeah, of course.
Why would she even talk? Why'd she even say anything?
CBS was here earlier.
Oh, really? Yeah. I want to interview both you guys. I want to ask you, why are you guys voting for Trump?
Well, I'm voting for his policies.
Okay.
If you don't get this country back on track, you're not going to have a country. It's going to be a socialist country.
How do you
He's
think-
got the right policy.
How do you think we're off track right now?
Well, the border, the
It's a
economy,
big one.
and just everything else.
And if you notice, a lot of these people, they're not super policy. They're not like policy gurus. They don't really care about the intricacies of the policy. It is more of this kind of general feeling about what's happening, you know. And they'll bring up, well, the border. They'll bring up whatever, that Keystone Pipeline, the economy. But these are all general, vague terms. There's no really intricate ideas of what's happening, but rather they have kind of just look at the image of Trump, right, as a man and what he's been doing, or an image of Kamala, and they are deciding based on, like, quite literally vibes, right? Like, there's not a whole lot here where they're like, yeah, I like that Trump taxed us this month, and then doing, you know, the good and bad of tariffs. They are not even saying that. They're just kind of generally like, just kind of these generalized statements. And it's just interesting to see that, like, it is about vibes, man. Like, what kind of aura do you have? What kind of energy do you bring out? And I think that's something that we're learning, is that, and maybe this is how we're going to go forward. I don't really know. I mean, obviously policies are important, but it seems like the image and the idea of the person is more important in a lot of people's minds. So that's very interesting.
Prices, I mean, inflation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. How have you felt that in Lancaster? Are you living here?
No,
Okay.
I'm from Maryland.
Maryland? Okay, so
Yeah,
how
Socialist Republic of Maryland.
Okay, so how is like the president impacted that area specifically? Have you felt like major changes in that area?
What, Biden?
Yeah.
I mean, I used to go out to dinner with my wife for less than $50. Now it's costing me $75 for the same meal.
See, they don't really know
I mean,
why
you
that's
know,
happening,
people look at the gas prices now. That's
but they know it wasn't happening
They're running
in
for
2016. Right?
office, and now the gas prices start coming down. You know, so I mean, that's the other
And the
thing.
Fed cut the interest rates right before the election.
Oh yeah, right. And we're not, energy independent. I mean, I'm a farmer, and I gotta have fuel for my equipment. So,
Can you tell me about your farm and how you run it, and really how politics affects farming?
well, they got more regulations on it now. All right, and I have a farm that I sell hay to other farmers, and the farmers, if I add all my fuel costs up, I got to raise the price of a bale of hay. And these little independent people that have horses, I sell hay to them. So it affects everybody. Come going down the line.
What are some of those regulations? Can you list a few that are new?
Well, they got more environmental regulations. You can't put this fertilizer on. You can't put that fertilizer on. So it's just restrictions.
Got it. Thank you so much, sir. What's your name?
Jimmy.
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 I'm Nate. 8 years.
He was about to dap him up.
Took a lot of crap.
He ain't gonna dap you up, bro. He a boomer.
You were selling Trump merch in 16 as well?
Yep.
Okay.
It was very soon as he came down that escalator and it came out.
Wow. So you're an OG. You've been there since the
Yeah.
Okay. So how have you felt?
A lot of people are, bro.
You changed from 2016 to 2024. Like, it feels like a lot of Trump supporters feel.
Yeah, his crowd is stable. His MAGA following, you can't. It's like a faith religion. You can't sway them.
True.
Our base
That's why they call it a
is
cult,
solid.
right?
It's getting the other base to come over to fight, convincing them of what's going on. Foreign policy, no wars, no one died. Gas was half price. Everyone respected us. Economy was good. No one bothered us. The main thing is no wars. Look at Ukraine.
That's true.
Look at those innocent women and children being slaughtered for nothing.
4 years, no
Look
new
at
wars.
Afghanistan.
True.
The Taliban cut their tongues out of the women.
But something
in
tells
church.
me that's not going to be the same if Trump gets
They don't
reelected.
put that on the news. They literally cut. You know how many nerve endings are in the tongue? In front of their dad, they did it. Then they shot him. All record. You got to pull up. It's all on the news.
In a lighter subject, How many of these T-shirts do you go through a day?
On a lighter subject.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do well. Yeah, don't be gone. Whatever's here, I'll fill up 3 or 4 times easy.
Wow, a day?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'll go through.
So
I've been through a good 80, 90 shirts and hats. And how many hats are there? I already had that filled up twice. Twice I filled that up this morning.
You filled up these hats twice just today.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm not a
$6.
good person to ask that.
How come?
Because I don't just go to the polls today.
okay, that's fine.
Why? Because I feel it's better to vote for my niece.
Based.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Based Amish
What is
grandma.
your faith?
We're Mennonite. We're not Amish.
Was it?
We're Mennonite. We're not Amish. So I don't know what the Amish community is.
Okay.
I'm not familiar at all.
Yeah. Okay.
That's something else. I actually don't know if the communities I was delivering to were Mennonite or Amish. I'm not really sure what the difference is. I think Mennonite can use some technology, and Amish just use nothing. So
I see signs for both, so I don't know.
Okay. Within the Amish community, or just general? Okay.
Feeling like I wasn't getting the full story about who the Amish were really voting for, I did some digging.
another thing about Amish or Mennonites is that they're not big socializers. Like many times when I delivered to them, they came off as kind of rude, and I think they get a bad rap for that. But I don't really think it's their. It's just kind of their culture, right? They have a very high in-group preference, and on top of it, I think that the kind of like Dutch German type culture doesn't really like lend to being super socialized, super, emotional and whatnot with your facial expressions or how you talk. So I don't blame them for that, but it is like, I feel like this is going to be like pulling teeth trying to get anything from the Amish or the Mennonites.
Starting out with this voter registration booth I saw not far away, I figured if they could tell me if people were registering more Democrat than Republican or vice versa, we'd have a better sense of who the Amish prefer. I didn't film people registering to vote though for privacy reasons, but here is the audio.
Oh, you're Republican. But we have anyone can register. Yeah, anybody can register here.
Then I thought of an even better idea. Go back to the shirt guy. He spends all
Short
day
guy's
next
like,
to the
"Oh, shit,
Amish.
you're
Maybe
back?"
he's spoken to them about this.
You again?
Look at you, you're really replacing it. I came back to see how you're doing.
Yeah, I've been putting more out. I wasn't kidding you.
Why don't I share some one
That's
more
all like,
question?
look,
Oh my god.
I ain't
wow.
kidding you, bro.
Dude.
Being down in any poll, I guarantee it. He's not tied with this witch either.
So that's what I want to ask you. So, big question for you. I came here to ask Amish people who they're voting for. They're not answering.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. They won't talk anything on the
No.
news, or they don't
Nope.
believe in it.
Yeah.
They don't believe in anything electronic. So
it's worldly, right?
It's
It's not-
especially if they see you with the camera, forget it. They're not even gonna let you take a picture, bro. Like I tried to take their picture a year ago. I had headbands, and the guy bought one, and put it on his hat, and I got the phone out. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna put that picture on YouTube. And then he goes, no. I said, oh, I forgot. They don't believe in any of that. They're graven images.
So, do you think that they're voting, or you think they're not voting, and they're just like?
I think some of them are. I have someone buying my stuff. They do buy my stuff. And I was told by one time in New Holland that their bishops were giving them permission to vote after the live birth abortion became prevalent in India. It was time to take a stance. Live birth, not just birth. I mean, regular, I don't even believe in regular abortion, but this is even after the child's born. Now, if I did that to a cat, they'd cuff me. You know? That's when they started. Now, they're all different. They're not all the same. It just depends. Some of them might be all like real old school, and they're not going to do any of that. I had a picture one time of an Amish guy. Somebody sent me on a buggy. Let's go, Brandon. Yeah.
Okay, so they're just quieter about it, but
Yeah, they're on there. They don't publish. They don't flaunt it because it goes against their tradition. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
in the
a
world.
little bit of guilt they have. In
Not of it.
using the technology, they don't flaunt it. You know what I mean?
so if you had to guess which way that they're swaying, which you
Oh, they're
guess?
definitely Trump. I even get
Yeah, I
them
would-
sticking their thumbs up. Even the vendors here, the Amish vendors.
I was just assuming.
Yeah, oh no, they're all Trump. They're not for the other way. I guarantee you.
So-
They're religious people.
Okay, so the Amish, just want to understand. So Amish people that come by here, they give you a thumbs up. Or
Oh yeah, I never get anybody complaining. They're all in on it.
But hold on, graven images, bishops allowing them to vote, what does all that mean? Well, funny enough, on my Uber ride to get a tour of the Amish community, the driver ended up being better than I think any official tour guide, and he unintentionally goes over exactly what this Trump vendor was talking about. Just take a look, this is so interesting.
Each different area, each different district has its own bishop, and the bishop sort of decides the rules. And there's some bishops that allow their youth, to have smartphones, and so needless to say, that changes a lot of things. They sometimes consider pictures to be what they call in the Bible like graven images. Pictures sort of represent like stopping time. They don't really believe in that.
Captures
the Lord
your
doesn't
soul or
intend
something, right?
for all of our lives to just stay the same. Everything is always evolving, always changing, and that's how the Lord intends it.
This guy's got a Trump hat. Is this from you?
Oh yeah, he's a good customer. Sure he is.
Oh yeah, I'm a real good customer.
Can you tell me why you're voting for Trump?
You tell me why?
Yeah.
Because Harris don't know how to run the freaking country. Our country's gonna go down.
You don't like how the country has been headed.
Well, it's gonna be worse. It's gonna be a World War III, believe me. Do you see any other country like Russia, Japan?
Might be World War III regardless.
No. This state and this country is the only way to... It's stupid enough to have a woman come in and try to run the country.
Is there something beyond gender that you don't like about her?
A woman shouldn't do a man's job. That's what I'm feeling.
See, this is what I'm talking about. It's like vibes, man. And like, the thing is like, since we've reduced a lot of our politics down to like identity politics, people are basically forced to vote for who they are. Like, so for example, if the Democratic side says we're for women, we're for minorities, and we're for homosexuals, right? And the alternative, well, there wasn't really an alternative, right? Because both sides kind of just accepted both of those things. But if the alternative is, okay, well, we're going to be, let's say, for example, we're going to be for whites, we're going to be for straight people, right? And we're going to be for just the general, right? The opposite of that, right? If these are the two sides that are the identities that they're pushing, these people don't care about policy. Nobody cares about policy. This is like the whole point of what I was saying earlier, is that policies don't really matter that much, because we're basing it off of vibes of identity here, right? Like, who is the identity leader of me, right? If me as a straight single white man, it's like, am I going to vote for the straight single billionaire, white guy, or am I going to vote for the Indian, Caribbean, like, well, she's not gay, but like pro-gay, it's almost like I feel like how are we going to reconcile this? Like, if I'm a straight white man, this guy probably is, of course he's going to vote for Trump, right? Like, he's not going to vote for the black woman who's for pro-gay, like, not Christian, not like, yeah, of course he's going to vote for this. And politics has always kind of been like about identity, of course. But there used to be so much more of like a homogeneity in this country, where most people were white, most people were Christian, gay, like homosexuality was not really a thing. So that's why it was more in the minutia. When you look at past presidential debates, it was more minutia focused on policies, because all these general traditional foundations that we've had were there. They were already there for both sides. So we didn't need to think about that. The identity aspect, it was for both sides. It was both sides had the same identity, but it was in the minutia that we had to debate. Now, it's not about the minutia anymore, because nobody cares about that. Nobody gives a shit about the debt. The average voter, it's like, we all know it's an issue, but nobody talks about, like, who cares, right? Both sides spend. It's now moved from that, and now it's about identity, because that traditional part of America, we're no longer a homogenous society. We're no longer 90% white. We're no longer Christian. We're no longer, straight. We're no longer, pro-capitalist, right? Now we have a fracturing of that. Now some people are just attacking the identity of the country itself, right? And there's another side who is trying to basically keep hold onto what the identity used to be. So this is the voting now. It's about vibes of who is going to keep the previous identity of America, which they perceive as being great, and who is going to radically change it into and continue forward on this new thing that we got going on. And those are the vibes. It's not about policies anymore. It's about vibes. It's about identity.
Okay? Because she don't know how to run. What happens if the war breaks out? What would you first thing she would do?
You tell me, what would you do?
She'd probably done enough. She'd probably send the troops over.
You know,
And
they already are.
If they don't come over, we're going to come over here because, oh, we asked the women president. She don't know. Let's go bomb the heck out of her. That's what's going to happen. Okay. What do you think? Let me have your opinion.
I think a woman can be president. I hope one day a woman is president, but a woman that's qualified. I think.
But she wasn't qualified. She was actually put in.
That's true.
In the United States, that would be an excellent president. And
Yeah,
it's a
well,
shame that it's taken this long.
I agree. Maybe if
I don't remember who it was. It was like, who was it who said it? It was a former president. Was it George H.W. Bush, maybe? Said it? Somebody said it. They said that a woman will never be elected president. A woman will be president, but she won't be elected. She'll be put in because one of our presidents is too old, and she will be a vice president or something along those lines. He said this years ago. It was like in the 80s or something. Maybe it was Gerald Ford. Maybe. I don't. Again, Gerald Ford.
Well, I hope we do have a young lady at some point become President of the United States. I can tell you how I think it will happen, because it won't happen in the normal course of events. Either the Republican or Democrat political party will nominate a man for president and a woman for vice president. And the woman and man will win. So you'll end up with a president, a male, and a vice president, a female. And in that term of office of the president will die. And the woman will become president under the law or constitution.
And it's funny because it's exactly what's happening. It's like no woman was elected president, but it looks like she has the potential to be president, but nobody really voted for her and nobody really likes her. So it's interesting that he called that 40 years ago.
If she was in the army or something, I can understand that, but she was not. She was appointed to be a president, just like you. If you were a Democrat, they probably appointed you. I mean, they appointed her right there to be a president. She don't know the first thing about what's the country.
Can I ask you? So
that's what I'm going to.
We're asking people here why they're voting for Trump. First of all, it was going to be a video of who you're voting for, but it seems that every single person here is voting for Trump.
Look at him just mog these
For
guys.
hours.
Height mogging, both of them.
I can't take the LGBTQ stuff in schools. I'm a teacher. I think it's complete nonsense. So culturally, I go, it's black and white. It's
right.
It's financially, I think it's complicated.
It's now a cultural and identity issue. It's not a policy issue.
I want to ask you a question.
Not the technical
Are you
part.
originally from the United States, or are you originally from another?
My family's been here for over 100 years.
Is that right?
But we're from Chinese background.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. You're a Chinese background. Have you ever had a woman as your head leader or president in your country?
They did for a little bit.
Are you
serious? That was after Mao Zedong, yeah. But I was American.
How did she do?
I don't remember. I don't think she was too good, but.
Can you tell me what's going on in schools? I see what I see on my Twitter.
Bro said, in your country, he's like, I've been here over 100 years. In your country, and he goes, the fact that he actually knew the history that he said after Mao, I don't really know. Maybe, I mean, he could be wrong. I have no idea. But it sounds like he knew what after Mao Zedong, there's a woman president. The fact that he knew is like interesting enough that,
Tell me what's really going on. What's the real story?
They kind of try to take away gender language at the elementary school level. They try to frown upon things such as you can't say boys and girls. Now I'm a gym teacher.
You can't say boys and girls.
So, for example, if there are three girls talking, which I say, hey, girls, can you please be quiet? They say you can't say that, but I'm like, but there are three girls. They said we use words such as friends or students.
Hey,
so
friends, can you
it's
stop
just
talking?
very impractical as a PE teacher that guys and girls are different. So I don't care about the classroom. I
How
get
young
it.
are we? Are you talking elementary school?
Elementary.
So, anyways, that's why I try to do for PE. I try to divide the boys in half and girls in half to make teams fair, but you can't do that out, and that's just kind of dumb. So, anyways.
Fair enough, bro.
All right.
Okay. My name's Nate. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too.
Where are you guys from? Nice to meet you.
Nate Friedman YouTube channel. That's why I'm independent.
I see, but you guys are from this area?
From New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
From New York. Okay.
DC.
DC. Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's right in it.
I'll tell you exactly who I'm voting for. I always vote for the right one. That's all you're going to get from me. Okay. Seriously. All right. Well, that's all I tell them. Maybe this is a no politics.
Maybe we can have the audience guess what policies matter most to you.
Like I said, this is a no politics.
The right one.
But I always vote for the right one. That's why you're going to
I respect that.
Still searching for my first
He's
Harris
saying the
voter,
right
I
one?
overheard a group of people from Virginia talking about not just Trump, but his strategy for the election. And they ended up revealing a lot, including some stuff about Virginia that you should know.
So, well, why are you guys? But we just voted. We just elected a Republican governor.
Okay.
So
Is DC spilling over to Virginia?
big time.
Yeah.
The only reason is blue.
Yeah.
If I were to come out to Virginia, like in your area, what do you think I'd hear more of, like Trump? We're probably pretty close to 50-50, I would say, down in the Tidewater area. A lot of military.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of military.
Military goes for Trump.
Every branch of
I would say
military.
so. I would say most of the military would be, or veterans would go toward Trump tried to rebuild the military, and then their debacle was coming out of Afghanistan. That's bad. That bothers me.
Okay.
It needed to be done. It had to be done. We should have done that shit 10 years ago. It was probably always going to be messy. And this lady looks like Roseanne Barr.
Yes. Thank you for your service.
My thing is when people, I'll say to people, I know that he's a little bit arrogant in the way
No, he's a lot arrogant.
She could be her sister.
Look at the thing there he did, and the thing that got me was most politicians are going to tell you what you want to hear, but then they're not going to follow through. He did what he said he was going to do, and he backed it up. He was honest, and I think a lot of the reason that they don't like him is because he's not politician. He fought.
I think if he would just shut his mouth and his Twitter account, he could probably get reelected.
Yeah.
No. That's a bad idea. See, the boomers don't even understand. Dude, vibes, man. It's all vibes. It's not a checklist anymore, right? It's kind of like, what's the general idea of the person? And you get an idea of a person by hearing them talk in a general sense, in more of a, like, this fluid kind of, it's not so rigid anymore, right? Because we now, again, we talk about the identity. It's the identity of the person, and how do you learn about what the person's about and how they are and their vibes? You hear them through their talk. So I think getting rid of his Twitter, I think his Twitter was one of the best things. I think it was hilarious. I think a lot of people, both sides, would look at a lot of his tweets and say, this is freaking hilarious, dude. It was good. It was good for the news cycle too.
Trump will stand up.
All publicity is good publicity,
He
right?
will stand up to the other countries and make a difference. Because he was already doing that.
Is there something like that you wish Trump would change about how he's campaigning right now? Yeah, just quit with the stupid beating down of people and talking trash about them.
Tell us what you're going to do and how you're going to help us the country out.
All you need to say is, are you better off now than you were 3.5 years ago? If you are, vote for her. And if you're not, then I'm your candidate. You voting for Trump or Harris?
Trump.
Oh, tell me why.
Really? I wouldn't have guessed
I
that.
think the most important issue is how we treat human life, and President Trump is definitely pro-life. He was at the National Right to Life March in Washington, D.C. So to me, that's the number one issue. We've been murdering babies for 50 years since Roe v. Wade was passed. So that's important, how we treat human life. So that's why I'm for Trump. He's pro-life, and I believe in protecting the borders too. So that's my answer.
Yeah, do you
The
feel
issues
like
of our time.
most of the people out here are also for Trump? Like, what's your gauge?
Yeah, I gauge that from the people that are registering to vote and selling Trump stuff. I think it seems like overwhelming people are for Trump. I see very few Harris supporters here, from my own observation.
Okay, and do you live in Lancaster?
Yeah. Well, I live in Myerstown, which is I think it's Lancaster County. I'm living here from New York.
Right. Yeah, so we're making a video. We're trying to figure out who people are voting for in Lancaster. Do you mind saying who? Okay. You still fighting?
I don't know. As in my religion, we're not allowed to vote.
Your religion? What's your religion? Muslims are not allowed to vote. Can you explain that?
I feel like
As a religious one, I cannot
I don't know
tell
if
you
that's
much
true.
about it because I do.
well, maybe it is. Maybe it's very traditional.
I haven't heard that.
Muslim
Like, because I know, like, Dearborn, Michigan, there's a lot of Muslims there that are voting. So, are they against what the religion says?
Probably.
Oh, bro, some of them are, some of them don't. I'm just. Okay, what's the point of voting? Let's be honest.
I mean, the point of voting is to elect someone you think is better than the other.
Well, let's go this way, but the president's already picked from the government. I just want a good president, that's about it.
Okay. Where are you from? Which country?
I'm from Palestine.
Palestine.
Yeah.
Got it. All right.
And our president did not help Palestine this time. He was going against with Israel. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
So it's going to be for Trump, because Trump's
I
been
don't care. As long as the president
super
is
pro-Israel
good,
lately.
we are safe here. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question about how the president is dealing with the war?
Biden?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You don't know nothing? You're doing that video, but you don't know nothing how he dealt with that
Well,
war?
I'm asking you. I'm asking how you feel about it.
Well, he's helping us. He's helping Israel, basically. You don't know about that?
Do you want? I know about that. So do you want Israel to not exist anymore? Or how would you like the war to end?
Well, Palestine was there from 1974. No, 19, I don't know. I can't remember. 1984. No.
You don't even know.
Okay, 1948.
Yeah, it's Israel. When Israel started.
It was Palestine. It was never Israel.
Creation of Israel.
Okay.
So, okay, I'm from there. I'm from there. I know. I have Israeli citizenship. Okay.
Yeah.
I know how it is. Why am I here?
Why are you here? I don't know.
I was in prison. Being a slave. But let's not go there.
Okay.
And you stop the question, please.
Okay.
I find it comical. The COLA for Social Security last year was one of the biggest we've had in a long time. And what's his face, the vegetable who calls himself president? Oh, Biden. Bragged
Biden.
about it. Oh, I've given you the biggest raise you've had in a long time. But what people don't understand is COLA is based on inflation. So his policies had inflation through the roof. So COLA has nothing to do with him. It's the Social Security saying, okay, if interest rates are real high, then we have to give a cost of living raise. So actually, he's hastening the demise of Social Security, costing it more money. You raise the inflation through the roof, and then COLA is automatic. It kicks in and raises your Social Security benefits. That costs the system. And he's bragging about this. And I see what's happened in the last 4 years, and it just scares the hell out of me. Yeah. And not for me, because this country is no longer mine. At my age, it's no longer mine. It's my kids and my grandkids that have to come up.
Yep.
And
we're going to
it
be
scares the hell out of me.
screwed.
As the root market was closing, I thought about two things. One, I didn't expect to not encounter a single Harris voter for hours. Maybe the ones that refused to talk were voting for Harris, but the enthusiasm for Trump outside of cities is honestly unlike anything that I've ever seen. You don't really encounter many MAGA hats in Manhattan, and really, there was always one in front of me in that market. They largely liked Trump for his policies more than anything else. And the other thing is that I decided that I would come back to Lancaster after the election was over and do an entire special episode on the Amish. If you'd like to see that, consider subscribing, and if you want to see who Orthodox Jews are voting for, it's on your screen right now, and I'll see you there.
Yeah, this was an interesting video. Didn't get a whole lot from the Amish, didn't get a whole lot of commentary from them, a lot of their opinions, and I could have told you that because I've interacted with them quite a bit, and they're pretty reserved. They're pretty reserved people. They just don't. It's just not their culture to extend themselves, right? At least to not. Maybe they do to their own. I don't really know. I'm not Amish, but I would assume they probably do. But to other people, to outsiders, people who are non-Amish, not Mennonite, whatever, they usually don't extend themselves like that. So this was an interesting video, though. We got a couple Amish in there who gave their opinion. But I would find it, I'd be very surprised if they weren't voting Trump, especially because of the abortion thing. And even, Trump's rhetoric lately, I feel like they're trying to move away from the abortion thing. They really just wanted to repeal Roe v. Wade and put it back to the states. But even that, again, the vibes of it is, hey, he doesn't like abortion, so we're going to vote for him. Or he appears to not like abortion, even if he's not going to talk about it anymore, even if it's not going to be a non-issue. We just know that the other side is rabidly for it. So we're going to vote for this guy. A lot of politics today, it really is just identity. It's just, they talk about identity politics. Well, we're seeing Trump kind of represents the identity, the old American identity. The old Christian, white, capitalist class, right? Versus now we have this kind of new, maybe the immigrant minority class with, maybe more, I don't want to say socialist necessarily, but less so, free capitalism, right? Like laissez-faire capitalism, more so, more like government regulations and stuff. More pro-abortion, less religious, pro-LGBT, that's a big one. And so we're seeing this split in this foundations of what we even believe America should be. And I know in the immigrant, the Haitian immigrant video I did, that was a big point, was that we need to actually acknowledge this isn't really about policy anymore. Politics isn't about policy anymore. It's about who do we think we are as a country. Are we, like, when we pick Trump, do we side with these things, more foundational, almost 1980s, right? Like capitalist owner, right? Capitalist business owner, ideas of the country? Or are we going to side with this new rendition of what the country should be? And I think that's just what it boils down to. And a lot of these people don't really even know the policies, but they believe in the image of the person running. So I think that kind of, it's an interesting shift away from how it used to be into how it is now. This is an interesting video to watch. I was actually sent this video by my father. He told me to check it out and give me my opinion on it, what I thought of it. But I watched like 5 seconds of it, and then I said, you know what? I'm actually going to save this and I'll do a video on it, and you can just have my opinion on that. If you enjoyed it, make sure to check out the original author of the video. His name is Nate Friedman. I will put his link in the description down below. And let me know what you think down in the comments. Give me a like and a subscribe, and I will see you all next time.